Welcome to Dead Wax.
Today's episode, we're with Anna Butterss, and we're going to be listening to Voices Inside, Everything is Everything from the Donny Hathaway live album.
Anna is a bassist and composer. They have performed and recorded with Jeff Parker, Andrew Bird, Phoebe Bridgers, Madison Cunningham, Amy Mann, Jason Isbell, and many others. Anna is also a core member of the fast-rising proto-trance supergroup, SML.
We're going to jump right in with Donny Hathaway, and this is Everything is Everything from the live album, 1972, which was recorded at the Troubadour in L.A. and the Bitter End in New York. Ryan?
Here we go.
And I'm so curious. When you hear that, what do you notice about that? What makes that so great?
It's so funny because just like listening back to it now with you guys, I'm like, I don't know if anyone has anything to say about that. Like that's just kind of a perfect bass solo in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the way that he builds it, he kind of like creates his own world. Like it starts so simple. Like it's almost kind of like a shock, you know. He's like with that, right? And I'm kind of like, oh, this is a little goofy. And then he brings everyone in, and then he kind of like builds the whole world from ground up. And he's doing this little like, you know, he's accompanying himself. He's like he keeps like he'll play like, and then it's. He's like kind of accompanying himself while he's soloing at the same time, which is really cool.
Yeah, the way that he builds it, starting out kind of goofy, like you said, with just roots and fifths, and then brings a third in. Like he's taking the whole audience by the hand and being like, come, you know, it's like, it's so accessible. And the way that there's so many motifs that he develops, like pop songs, you know what I mean? So many like quotable, hooky little motifs throughout the whole solo.
Totally. And the use of like repetition as well. It's the same sort of thing. He's like, it's motifs, it's repetition, it's the call and response thing. And then you also hear like the crowd and also Donny getting in on that call and response. He'll like leave. It's almost like he's leaving a space, and then Donny's like, all right, you know, like say what? Yeah. And it's cool. It's such a live feeling solo as well. Like if that was on a studio record, I don't think it would hit the same way.
Exactly. Yeah, there's something about that, the goofiness at the top and the arc sort of to complexity and the playfulness of it. Like I would describe that whole thing as playful. Like even that moment where he does that tritone between the dominant seven and the third. And then he like wiggles the tritone and then goes up a half step and wiggles it a little more.
The technical term.
And Donny like literally laughs, and the audience is like, yeah, because it's like silly but fun and like playful but also smart. It's not like silly dumb. It's like silly smart in a way that like he's inviting you in and bringing you along with what he's doing.
Yeah, there's so much personality in it. It's like his whole, you understand who he is as a human being. Yeah. Listening to this solo.
Totally. He just sounds like he's, like you said, he sounds like he's having so much fun.
Yeah.
Everyone else is having fun. And the other thing I like about it is like, this is one of the, like, in my understanding at least, like one of an earlier bass solo. Like this is like what, 72?
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like pre-Jarko, pre like, who I love, like no shade, but it's a really different style of bass solo, right? It's like, it's not choppy. He's not trying to do anything. Like he's not trying to show off. He's not trying to be a solo. Like his kind of way of getting the audience in is like this kind of like motivic like thing. He's not trying to play a bunch of crazy shit in a way. Am I allowed to swear on the podcast?
Oh yeah, we encourage swearing.
Sick.
Yeah.
Can we talk tone?
Yeah.
Can you play back like Ryan, not the beginning of the solo, but maybe toward the beginning? Like that's when I started noticing the tone.
Yeah.
And maybe just the thing to listen to. And I don't know if this is purposeful or just part of the recording, but there's some like, I don't want to say there's fuzz on it. It's not fuzz, but it's like there are some extra harmonics in there that make it feel like it's run through a fuzz pedal and then rolled off on the top or something. It's a very full, compressed, like harmonically rich tone. Can we just listen to his tone?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear.
I know what you mean.
Sounds like it's running through a Big Muff set to dark or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I feel like that's probably not what was going on.
Yeah, what is that?
I have no idea. I mean, it's also just like a live recording.
Right.
So like probably a lot of stuff going on. I don't know how they recorded it.
The pocket is so deep the
It's so true,
entire
yeah.
time.
Yeah, he's like at the end of the day, he's still a bass player. Like he's
Right.
playing this amazing solo, but like he's never going to let you forget that that's his role in the band. And it's amazing. I love it so much. I'm really curious. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. Like, I wonder about how much of that do you think was pre-worked out?
It doesn't sound like any of it. You know what I mean? It sounds, but then again, they're playing multiple shows. I imagine like this is part of a tour, so this is probably a moment that has happened before. So, yeah, you might assume that like certain of those themes or the general arc of the
maybe,
thing
yeah.
has been done before or established. But yeah, I'd be curious to listen to like other recordings of shows from this tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if they're out there. I mean, that song, I mean, the whole song is literally just 4 solos back to back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like and he doesn't even really sing.
Yeah.
It's just, so I wonder if this is just kind of like what they do every night, and then it's kind of like evolved into this.
Right, because this is like
kind
the
of thing.
end of the record, right? This is
It
like
is,
the
yeah,
last.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is probably the end of how they closed out the shows.
That's what I imagine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you move to LA and start to like gig as a bass player?
Kind of from the jazz world. I moved to LA and was just like exclusively playing jazz for a few years. I moved here in 2014. It was like playing jazz and, you know, just jazz until like maybe 2017. And then it was kind of through my jazz friends, like Gregory Ullman, who's a great guitarist and a really good friend of mine, was like I was like, oh, he's playing in like bands. He's also doing this like singer-songwriter stuff. And like, that's kind of interesting. And like, yeah, friends like Jeff Parker, who was kind of like, yeah, playing jazz, but also plays in like Tortoise and those kind of things. I was like, this seems cool. But it was really directly through playing jazz. And then I just bought an electric bass and told people I wanted to like play it with them.
So you didn't own an electric bass like when you were studying it in grad school?
I think I did, but it wasn't one that I just didn't have it. It didn't have a vibe. I didn't like connect with it. I think I think I still have this bass. It's like a jazz bass. It's from like 2006.
Nice.
I just don't have a vibe with it. So I called my friend Paul Bryan. Do you guys know Paul?
Yeah.
Amazing bass player, producer. You know, and he kind of was like, here's what, I didn't have a ton of money at the time. So he's like, here's what you get. He went on Reverb and he's like, get this. He's like, get this K bass. It's like $500, which I don't even think I had at the time, but I borrowed it. You know, and got this bass, and I was like, oh, this is a vibe. This feels more like an upright bass. This feels like a sound that I can kind of like connect with.
You still play that bass?
Occasionally, yeah. Funnily enough, I've moved on to playing mostly P bass,
Yeah.
and Mustangs, but yeah, and then.
So if you could go back and talk to Anna, who had just moved to LA,
Oh my God.
and Anna came to you and said, okay, I have this jazz background, I play upright, and I want to get into like electric bass. Tell me who to listen to, what to do.
Whoa, that's a good question. Depends what kind of style of music. This is not a fun answer, but yeah, I mean, it depends what style of music. James Jamerson, I mean, big one for me, who I think we're going to talk about, Michelle DeGiocello. I think it's just finding a way. There's no one right answer. I think it's just kind of finding a sound that you connect with, finding a style that you connect with that feels like you can incorporate into your own kind of musicality. And for me, it was also about kind of connecting that voice to the voice I have on upright, which I'd been developing since I was 13, you know, so it's like kind of hard to like, it's a totally different instrument. That's what I would say. I think like trying to, I think the instinct is sometimes to see them as the same instrument because they play a similar function and like the strings are the same and all that sort of stuff. But totally different, totally different. Not like, and funnily enough, you would think it would be harder to go from electric bass to playing upright bass. But the people I know, like myself, who have tried to go the other way, it's also really hard.
Yeah.
Electric bass is not an easy instrument.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
When you say like cultivating your own voice or kind of like working on your own voice as a bass player, how much of that is like conscious and intentional versus how much of that just kind of you stumble into and just sort of happens and 10 years later you sound like you sound? Like, do you actually develop a style that you want to be your voice? Is that like an aspirational thing that you're conscious of?
I think it varies for different people. For me, it was, I really didn't want to fall into the trap that I think I saw people in jazz school fall into, which was having one person who, you know, like the saxophone players who only listen to Coltrane. And then it's just kind of like, well, you're going to just sound like a worse version of Coltrane. No offense, but like that's already been done. You know, it's like you kind of have to find something different. So I had a few guys who I would kind of try and emulate to a certain extent, but I was always really conscious of like just sounding derivative. So for me, it was much more of a kind of just like subconscious process that like, you know, I would notice myself like kind of picking different little phrases or ideas or kind of concepts from different people, but I never was really trying really hard to just like, okay, I'm like consciously build it, if that
so
makes
those
sense.
people, Jamerson,
a little bit.
Willie Weeks,
Yeah, again, a little bit.
Michelle?
Definitely more Michelle.
Okay. Who else?
I mean, mostly like upright guys, you know, like Larry Grenadier was a big one for me.
Oh,
Brad
yeah.
Meldau Trio.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, come on.
good.
Like, Larry's the one who, like, I wouldn't say I sound super like him on upright, but that's the one where when I listen to myself back, I can hear the most from him. Charlie Hayden.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garrison. Ray Brown in my earlier days.
Nice.
Ron Carter, of course. I mean, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And so when if you said to little Anna, check out Jamerson, check out Willie Weeks, how would you go about practicing something like this? I mean, I imagine it wouldn't necessarily be a bass solo.
Right,
but how would you go about that? Would you'd find like, I imagine a recording that inspires you, and then how do you listen to music with bass players on it with the intention of like figuring out what they're doing or getting better?
I mean, I think I've heard it described as like the difference between like learning how to play upright bass and learning how to play electric bass. It's like upright bass, you spend like, 2 hours a day just practicing intonation like really slowly, which is, in my experience, true. And then electric bass, you just put on a funky record and play along. and like, honestly, to me, that's kind of how I've done it. Like, so
you just play along with recordings?
Yeah, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, occasionally, I'll like, if I'm feeling really like studious, I'll stop it and like learn. Like, I think, I tried to learn this Willie Weeks solo in grad school. I don't think I did a very good job at it, but like, maybe I'll like sit down and be like, okay, what's that specific lick? But I think so much of the bass to me is about feel that it's kind of like, it's more of a practical pursuit than like a, let me put the metronome on and practice. It's more, I think, personally, it's more useful to just put a record on and play along, and then you're kind of like, especially if you play along with like, you're like not plugged in, so you can hear everything that Willie Weeks is doing.
Is that typically how you'll play along?
It's about half and half, or I'll like have my volume like lower, so I can like still hear everything that he's
So
doing.
music coming through the speakers or headphones?
Speakers.
And you're plugged into an amp.
No, I'm just running myself straight through Ableton.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're coming out of the same
Yeah, we're all
sound
just
source.
yeah. I mean, maybe I'll pan myself right or something if that's easier. But
Yeah. And you're trying to sort of like match whatever groove.
I'm just
What
I'm
is
just
it
trying to
listening to?
make it feel good. I mean, that's really what playing bass is about.
Do you do like how much do you do that?
These days, not much. I'm on the road a lot. I haven't really been able to get into a good routine. and I'm more focused on, honestly, I'm more focused on practicing upright because it's so harder to keep my chops up on that. So electric bass, I'm more just like, I'll have it laying around and I'll pick it up and I'll just be playing bass lines. I'll just, like just kind of messing around really. And then I'm lucky enough to play a lot of shows. So I'm always trying to do things in those, if there's space. I think a lot of the time with the bass, there is space to kind of try new things, or at least I think. No one's fired me yet, so I feel like it's fine.
So shows are kind of like a little bit of a, I don't want to say like a not a full experimental ground, but it's like you sort of allow yourself to kind of like try new things in shows. It's totally, like space to like experiment.
Totally, yeah. I mean, things. Like to me, that's like the difference between like, to me, when I go and see a show, I don't want to just hear the record. I know some people do want to just hear the live band playing the record, but I want it to be different. Otherwise, I'll just stay home and listen to the record. And to be fair, like a lot of the bands I play in, or two of the main bands I play in, are improvised, like totally improvised music anyway. So it also varies a bit depending on the artists and the show, and yeah. But even like the like, my main tour I'm doing at the moment is with Jason Isbell, and that's kind of, that music is much more structured. But even then, I find there's like a lot of space to be creative while still being tasteful.
Can we talk about Jason Isbell for a second? Thank you so much for watching Dead Wax. If you've enjoyed this conversation, there's an extended episode over at patreon.com/scarypockets. Leave us a comment. We love hearing from you. Tell us what we should listen to next. Thanks again, and see you next time.